All righty, we'll get started now. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us there. Thank you for joining us for our webinar series. Today we'll be discussing 321 backup as a service. First of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Eric Oliveros. I am part of the marketing team here, and I'm joined by our product manager, Deval Panara.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And today we'll be discussing a topic we've covered a few times, but it's an important topic, and we figure we should revisit this. It's a 321 backup as a service. We've discussed 321 backup before, but as a service, I mean, this is something that we think will be pretty beneficial to our partners, our resellers out there who you have your bag of services and you have your QNAP, and this is an additional service that you can provide your customers. And it's definitely good to know what options you have with your QNAP as to provide a 321 backup service. First, we'll be discussing our overview of 321 backup, get into why 321 backup is important. For third part, we'll get into how installers can provide a 321 backup with the QNAP, how you can use your QNAP NAS as an additional service for 321 backup, get into a live demo, and then we'll finish it off with a Q&A at the end. So first topic we'll talk about is an overview of 321 backup. So again, what is 321 backup? It's the three is of this of the 321 backup is to have at least 3 copies of your data. You can have 2 copies on one on your NAS, backed up on your NAS, and have one maybe on an external drive. Number 2 of the 321, stored on at least 2 different mediums. So again, mention external drive. Have one on an external drive, on secondary NAS, on your network, or perhaps the cloud as well. So 2 of those 3. And the 1 of the 321 backup is to have at least 1 copy off-site. So that would be a secondary NAS at a second location or another server. So you have your 321 discipline there. So why 321 backup is important? Well, as we know, stuff happens. Your NAS and your office or your home, you have a physical disaster, you have a flood, earthquake, a fire. Theft, of course, is prevalent these days. People can take your NAS and walk out the door with it. You won't have access to it because it's not connected to the network. Unwanted changes to data, of course, that happens again. We're human. We change data, we remove files, we delete files. Again, that's part number 4, unwanted deletion of data. Sometimes you'll delete some files in your NAS, and what do we do there? So if you have a backup of them, of course, you can recover that data. All right, so how to use your QNAP NAS for a 321 backup. We have our hybrid backup sync service. So what that is, it's a one-stop shop for any type of backup and synchronization. Whenever you want to do that, we have our application hybrid backup sync. It allows you to consolidate backup functions. Again, you have all your backup, any type of backup you can do on a QNAP NAS, you have it in one place with hybrid backup sync. You could do backups to backup onto your NAS. You can pick a folder on your NAS, back up one folder to another folder. You can back up to an external drive. It allows you to back up to any type of cloud service that we're compatible with. Again, we're compatible with a couple of dozen. If you look on our website, you can see all the cloud services that we're backup. So it gives you all a one-stop shop a one-stop place to do all of your backups, synchronizations with hybrid backup sync. So why QNAP is the right choice for your 321 backups? Well, we have a variety of reasons. With our external, if you have your NAS and you want to get expansion units, you can back up to 5 petabyte volumes of data with QNAP. It's scalable as you go. Again, you can get expansion units if you need more capacity, or you can get larger drives as well, where our NAS support up to 22 terabyte drives per bay. So you scale as you go. Again, you're not limited to what certain capacity you can grow as you go. We have complete backup features as mentioned with our hybrid backup sync. You can do a variety of backups, and it's subscription free as well. So I mean, this is for for MSPs, you got your technicians out there. You have a variety of customers that you want to provide this service. You can be your own cloud provider for your for your customers. So this is an additional service that you can do. It doesn't cost anything to you besides the actual physical cost of your NAS and your expansion units, but you can provide a service to your customers as their cloud.
Yes, and just to add on to that, so the reason that the QNAP is the right choice also is that now we have up to 5 petabyte level of volume. So because of that huge amount of space that you can provide to your customers, so you can segregate that space to all your customers. So when you use QNAP as a NAS for providing an offsite storage, you can just create an account for your customers, and they can use the subscription-free app, which is the hybrid backup thing, to back up to your NAS offsite. So instead of customers paying a subscription monthly fee to cloud storage provider, to store their offsite backup, you can be another provider and then provide this service. And again, we don't charge you any fee for using the application. So application is free to use for you. You can provide this as a service, and then you can use the QNAP NAS, create a large volume, again up to 5 petabytes, and then have a large capacity for your different customers. So and then again, because it's offsite on your location, customers can achieve that 3-2-1 backup strategy by having that one copy offsite, and that will be your location, which is your NAS. So, and then again, if something happens, a drastic issue that happens at customer's location, and they completely lose access to your NAS, you can just give access. They can just restore from your NAS at your location, or you can actually give them access to your NAS. You can create an account for your customers, and then give them access to your NAS so they can quickly access the data in case if something drastic happens. So that is another advantage of having a QNAP NAS for providing the offsite option for your customers.
Right. So not only do you fulfill the 3-2-1 backup, but you're also their cloud too. So deduplication with QNAP. Deval, tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So deduplication is a feature that we provide with the hybrid backup sync. This application, with the advantage of having this application is, especially if your customers who's using this, who's using the NAS for virtualization storage, there's a lot of duplicated data on their NAS, right? They're running multiple VMs on their NAS, or they're running multiple VMs on VMware. There's a lot of duplicated data on the virtualization part of it. So what happens is that when you do a backup, so let's say, for example, to keep it simple, I'm going to just use a simple example. If they have a NAS or virtualization storage for up to 1 terabyte, it's a good possibility that almost 20 to 30% of that data is duplicated data. So it could be like the 300 gigabytes or around that, that is duplicated data. So when you do a backup, when you do a backup on a non-duplication option, you actually backing up the 1 terabyte. So if the customer has 1 terabyte of virtualization data, and you do a backup to another NAS, the another NAS is also going to take up that 1 terabyte of space on their NAS. But again, because if it's duplicated data, you're actually wasting a lot of space. With QU deduplication, QNAP will look at your data when doing the backup, and it will see that, okay, you have up to 30% of your data which is duplicated data. So when you do a backup, it's not going to copy the duplicated data. It's only going to copy the original data onto your QNAP NAS. So there's two advantages with this, especially for resellers who's providing this particular service, right? And if you have multiple customers using virtualization storage, you're going to see a lot of advantages of that. So when the customer is backing up to your NAS offsite, instead of backing up that whole 1 terabyte, they're only going to be backing up the 700 gigabytes of data, and then you're going to actually save 30% space on that one customers. And if you multiply that to multiple customers, you're going to see a lot of advantages, a lot of space saving. Another advantage for your customers is that deduplication happens even before doing the backup job, or if even before starting the backup job. So what happens is that customers can also see a benefit of having not only to send that 1 TB, it's only going to send 700 GB worth of data. So they're going to save a lot of bandwidth cost as well. So instead of copying 1 TB using their internet connection, they're only going to send about 700 GB of data over their internet connection. So they also save a lot of bandwidth cost as well. So that's another advantage of using QU deduplication. Again, this feature is available at no cost using the hybrid backup sync as well. And also doing a restore as well is going to be a quick restore, because you only restoring that 70% of data instead of the whole 100% of the data. So that's another advantage of that as well.
All right, hybrid backup sync client-side encryption. So here's another feature that that we offer that can benefit you and your customer. So Deval, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So client-side encryption. Now remember, customers are backing up to your NAS off-site, so obviously they're going to be worried about data being accessed by yourself or by a third party, somebody else that they want to access the data. So they'll be a little bit concerned. So QNAP provides you with a feature called client-side encryption. So when you're doing the backup, you can actually encrypt the whole data. So with a password and with a strong password, when the data is copied to your offsite NAS, you cannot access the data unless you have the password. And it's a 256-bit encryption, so it's a really strong encryption that QNAP provides when doing the backup. So so the customers can rest assured that nobody can access the data unless they have the password. So when they want to restore the data, they have to enter the password even for themselves to access the data. So that's another advantage. So when the customers are asking you a question about, is my data secured when I'm copying to your NAS, you can rest assured you can provide this particular feature, or you can talk about this, saying that you can provide a client-side encryption, and when you transfer the data from their NAS to your offsite location, data is encrypted and with a passive protection, and so they don't have to worry about somebody unauthorized accessing your data. So that's another feature that we provide as well.
Be careful with that password though. All right, so now we're going to get into live demo. So hang tight with us for a second.
All right, so I'm gonna quickly go over some options for, or what the backup option looks like. So first, I'm gonna be logging into my main QNAP NAS. So this is where you can install the application called Hybrid Backup Sync, and this application will be used for accessing your data or backing up your data remotely to offsite locations. So under backup and restore, so I have multiple jobs called local backup. So again, 3-2-1 backup strategy. We also recommend having 2 copies of data on 3 copies of your data in 2 different mediums and 1 offsite, right? So you want to ensure that you have a local copy as well. You can use another QNAP NAS, a smaller QNAP NAS, or you can use maybe an external hard drive connected to the NAS for an on-site backup job. So you have that as well. You have the main copy, which is what you're accessing regularly. You have another copy, which is an external drive or another QNAP NAS, and then the third copy, which would be offsite, which would be remote, which would be backing up to your offsite location. So that is why I have 2 different jobs, and that's another great feature as well. Hybrid backup can consolidate all this into one interface. They don't need to access multiple interface, their local jobs or remote jobs as well. So here I have a backup job that is going to local, but this is the important part, right? The remote backup job, and you can set up a remote backup job to the customer's location, to your offsite location as well. And um, first, let me show you. Let me edit the job. So you can set up a schedule. The customers have the ability to set up multiple different types of schedules. They can do a one-time backup job, so just one time. You can do a periodic backup job, so you can do multiple backup jobs in a day. If the customer is concerned about backing up, making sure they have the latest copy, you can actually do a backup job every 10 minutes as well. So there's a backup job that will run every 10 minutes. And again, remember, this is incremental backup. So when a backup job runs, only the new data is being copied, not all of the data has been copied. So if you have 1 terabyte of original data, that's going to be copied on the first job. And after that, let's say if you only add 10 gigabytes worth of extra new data. So when the next backup job runs, only the 10 gigabyte worth of data will be copied. So customers have the ability as well to do a periodic job. You can also do a daily job. Let's say, for example, customer wants to do a backup job every 2 in the morning when nobody's using the NAS. You can also do that as well. You can do a weekly backup jobs. You can choose which day of the week you want to do a backup job. You can also do a monthly backup job. So customers have the ability to do multiple different types of backup job as well. That will be under schedule. We also do versioning as well. So customers um, have the ability to do simple versioning and smart versioning, where customers can choose which version they want to restore. So they can have multiple versions. We have something called simple versioning. They can restore, or you can have them keep the last 100 versions, or you can also have them keep last 100 days. Or so this is, again, some customer may require you to have certain days of backup jobs. So let's say a government requires you to have at least 90 days worth of data. You can actually say that our service, our offsite backup jobs does have the ability to retain last 100 days of worth of data. If they want to have more than that, you can actually have a maximum of 3,650 days, or yeah, way over multiple years of backup jobs that you can provide, and then you can charge for that as well. You can also do something called smart version. They can have 1 version per hour, 8 versions per week, 7 versions per day, and then 10 versions per month. So customers have the ability to choose between different types of restore if they want to restore one particular backup job. Now, another great part about doing a backup job is that, let's say you have all your data intact, everything is working fine, but only a certain file that got corrupted. You don't need to restore the whole backup job. You can actually select that one particular folder from your offsite NAS. Customers can restore that one particular file or folder from your backup job. So versioning can help with that as well. So let's say if they corrupted something, or let's say it's a Word document and they mistakenly edited something incorrectly, but they don't want to restore the version that goes months back. They want to try to restore the version that is yesterday's version or day before yesterday's version. If you provide versioning as a service, they can restore yesterday's Word document. So everything that they changed will be wiped out, and they can have the yesterday's version available as well. That's another great feature versioning can provide as well. Under rules, you can also include and exclude certain types of files. If the customer don't want to do large backup jobs like photos and videos, you can actually exclude them, or you can include them into your backup jobs. You also provide that as a service. Under policies, this is where you're going to be using client-side encryption. So let me set up a new backup job so I can show you how easy it is to set up a backup job. Let's say if you want to set up a backup job for public folder on their NAS, you can select remote NAS. You can add a new account and then just provide them with your my QNAP cloud information, the port number, and then you can actually create a new account for their customers. So let's say this is an offsite NAS that you're going to be using, right? So when you're actually setting up an offsite account for their customers, you can actually just create a new account called you can set up customer 3, you can enter a password. You can also provide them access to certain folders on your NAS as well. So you can provide them access to certain things only on their NAS. So they only have access to certain folders on their NAS. And once you have done that, you can provide that information to their customers and then hit speed test, and they will you can so right here I have an example right here. So if I do a speed test, it will give me it'll say successfully connected, and now you can do a backup job. So this is my offsite NAS. I'm going to select that NAS, and the offsite NAS will have folders for your NAS. So you can select customers backup. You can create a folder. For example, I'm going to select customer 1 as my backup job, so you can select that as well. So my public folder will back up to customer 1 folder on my offsite NAS. You can name this as offsite backup, and you can set up a schedule if you wanted to. You can do versioning as well, as I mentioned before. But under policies, as I mentioned, you can do client-side encryption. This is very important because I'm pretty sure a lot of customers will require this feature because they want to make sure that you cannot access the data. So now you can enter the password. So when they're doing a backup job, it's an encrypted backup job going to the NAS. So that's another great feature that we provide as well. Enter the password, verify the password, ensure that you have the password available, or they keep the password saved at multiple locations, because if you lose a password, there's no way to get access to that data, right? It's a 256-bit encryption, so you cannot access the data without the password. There's no way to hack into the data as well. So once the password is lost, unfortunately, data is lost as well. So ensure they keep a copy of the password at multiple locations. So that's another feature that we provide. Another feature that we provide is rate limits as well. The customer says that I'm concerned that my backup job, especially when the first backup job runs, it will use all of my bandwidth, right? So you can rest assured that you can ask customers to select a certain speed, that only that speed will be used when doing the backup job. So let's say the customer says has a 1 gig internet plan. You can ask the customer to only use maybe 10 megabytes per second. So only 10 megabytes per second will be used to do the backup job. So the rest of them will be available for regular use for the customer. So that's another great feature that we provide as well. And also another feature that we provide is QU-dedupe. So QU-dedupe, as I mentioned before, when you check this box, the hybrid backup sync will look at the data to ensure that no duplicated data is being backed up. So the customer and you can actually save or get benefit of this feature. For yourself, you're going to save a lot of space for all the new backups that's coming from different customers, and for customers, they save a lot of bandwidth usage cost if there's a lot of duplicated data as well. So that's another great feature. We also now provide network usage as well, where if customers have multiple network ports, they can dedicate one of the network ports for backup, and the other one will be used for their Office file server or virtualization server. So you can do that as well. We now provide that as a service as well. So that's how easy it is to back up or to set up a backup job. Now on your side, you're going to be looking at hybrid backup sync. You're going to just see how many incoming backup jobs are coming from different customers. So right here, you can see that the successful backup jobs that are coming. You can see that it's locked. That means it's encrypted. You can see all the incoming jobs as well. You can see local backup jobs or remote backup jobs that's coming from different customers. You can see if it's running successful as well. What's the last scheduled time? If you don't want to give them access to your NAS, let's say if the customer stopped using this particular service, you can just click on this button and they can no longer do a backup job to your NAS as well. So there's another granular control that you can actually do. Under services, this is another thing that you need to remember. When you're setting up a NAS, a remote offsite NAS for your customers, you need to set up RTRR service. So this is where you're going to be setting up or enabling this service, and you can either use a shared RTRR account, just enter a password and verify the password and just provide this password to all your customers, or you can actually create an individual NAS accounts for your customers and provide them their own account information, and you can provide that as well. The port, we do recommend using opening one port on your router, which the default is 8899. You can also change it to I would recommend changing it to something else like 8900 or something other than default port, or don't use default port, use something other than default port. And you can also rate limit yourself or all your connections as well. So you can actually just say use not all my bandwidth, but just certain amount of bandwidth upload or download. So you can have different types of rate limits for different types of jobs. So that's another great feature we provide. You can also do all connections or only allow approved connections. So you can get IP address or public IP address from your customers and only allow them access, or you just enter those IP addresses. So if somebody else is trying to access or trying to do a backup job, they will be denied if they're not under a allowed or approved list. So that's another great feature that we provide as well. So once you set this set this information up, you can now have access to your NAS. So everything is now running. Let's say a customer loses access to their data, and now, or let's say there was a natural disaster that happened, and they lost access to the NAS, and they don't have access to their data, but they need urgent access to that data. So instead of waiting for the customer to get another QNAP NAS and set up the QNAP NAS before, what you can do is you can immediately provide access to that data or to the customer's data by, as I mentioned before, you can create an account for their customers. I have created the customer one account. And then once you have created an account, you can do a restore job. You can select local NAS because it's in your own location, and then hit select. The source data will be the customer's data job that you selected. So customer one, I'm going to select customer one. And then the destination, you have to select a particular folder on your NAS, or you have to create a new folder on your NAS. So I can create a restore folder. I can create a new folder and then hit select that folder and hit OK. And so customer, or you can name this particular job. And then I would not do a schedule because this is just one time that customer wouldn't require you. But if you want to do a schedule, you can also do a schedule. But you can select restore now, so you can start restoring it immediately. And then you have to let the customer enter the password. So you can either you can actually give customer access to your NAS and then let them do a restore job so they can enter the password, or if the customer is okay with providing the password to you, because you can now and then they can change the password. They can create a new job and select a new password, so you don't have access to the old password. But once the customer gives access to your password, hit OK, and then hit next, and then you can you can hit restore. And now once the restore finishes, you can go to file station, and customer one, and they will have access to the data under restore. They can see their data as well. So you see all the folders they have access to, and they will get access to the folder itself. So that's another great feature that customer provides. And then they can see all the duplicated data as well. And then they can see all the information that is stored within the backup job. So that's another great feature that you can provide to your customer. Again, under shared folder, when you create a new under users, when you create a new account for your customers, you have to ensure that you can provide access to which folder. So when you're doing a restore job, you have to ensure that they have read and write access, or you can actually do just read only access, so they can only download data. They cannot delete anything from your folder. So you can only do a read only job, or you can do a read and write, so they can write as well as they can download as well. So that's another feature that you can provide as a service. And then once you provide this access, they can log into, and then you can provide them with your MyQNAP cloud information. They can log into your NAS, and they can restore anything they wanted to immediately from your NAS as well. So that is in a nutshell how you can actually use a QNAP NAS, and why a QNAP NAS is a great tool for using or how you can provide as a 3-2-1 backups serve as a service, basically. All right, back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right. Yeah, we're going to have a Q&A in just a sec, but first we wanted to talk a little bit about a new program that we have for resellers out there. This is our QNAP partner program that we just recently launched, and we provide you, our resellers, the tools to help you grow, to help you educate, and also just expand your business. The benefits of our partner program: we have deal registration. So you got any deals out there, you can lock them in with us to make sure that you get them in. NFR demo units, we have discounts for NFR demo units, so you can have a demo unit to go out and show your customers, demonstrate any of our features, or also you can use it for training. And also we have a loaner program as well. Provides you a loaner program so you can, you got a customer out there that wants to kind of kick the tires on a QNAP NAS, and you want to make sure you make the right purchasing choice. So we provide a loaner program as well. For more information on our new QNAP partner program, you can go to the link here in this slide, or you can email us as well, resellerinfo_us@qnap.com for more information. Again, we just recently launched this, and we're pretty excited about our new program here. So give us a visit or send us an email. And now we're going to open up the floor to a little bit of Q&A. If anybody has any questions regarding anything that we just covered, please feel free to ask away.
All right. We actually have a few Q&A, so I'm going to go through them. So the first Q&A is, I'm using QNAP NAS as a base to create private cloud for my clients, but unfortunately, most clients now is using applications that include backup options as well. As a reseller, can QNAP help me develop application to be installed and used on QNAP NAS to help me sell more QNAP NAS? For example, applications for medical field and others. So actually, you can actually reach out to us and provide us with what exactly is application that you actually require, and if we have something already, because we have a lot of applications already available on a QNAP NAS that could actually fit your needs already. But if you have something that we don't provide as of yet, please reach out to us at the email that we've provided before, and we can actually see what we can actually provide you as a service. So we definitely want to help out all our resellers to ensure that they can actually get all the projects that they're trying to achieve, and then we'll always want to get to know what actually our reseller needs are. We also want to know that our customers' needs as well. So if you can reach out to us and explain your customer's application, we definitely, if we don't have something, we can actually see if we can get that worked out for you, and we can also work with you as well to ensure that we always can submit feature requests with our QNAP NAS to ensure that we can have all the features that our customers require. So
does QNAP have a complete cloud solution that can be sold for government contracting?
We don't actually have a cloud solution per se, but we always are working on new features to provide. So please check back with us in a few months. We may actually have something in the works as well. So, but as of yet, we don't have any cloud service provider as of yet from us. But we do work with a lot of cloud service providers like Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, and Black-based B2. We have a lot of cloud service providers we already work with. So if you need immediate cloud service providers, you can actually check Hybrid Backup Sync and list of all the cloud service providers that we work with, and then you can actually get that provided to your customers in the meantime.
All right, next question we have: as a reseller, do I have access to demo or reduced price devices to try? For example, 10 gig switches and 10 gig NAS internal cards. And yes, we do. As discussed, we do have our new QNAP partner program. So we do have NFR demo units and loaner programs as well for if you have customers that want to try the NAS before they purchase as well. We do have that available for our partners. Again, we'll have information. We'll do a follow-up. We'll have information regarding our partner program. But you can also send us an email if you have any questions right now. You can send us to resellerinfo_us@qnap.com for any questions for our new partner program. And all right, looks like resellerinfo_us. And Deval's adding our email address here to the chat. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Looks like we got a couple of other questions. If I use Hybrid Backup Sync and backup to the cloud, could Hybrid Backup Sync remove old backups that are older than 30 days, or must I set this in the cloud backup service.
So as of yet, we don't have that particular feature. But that's a great feature that I can actually request as a feature request. As I mentioned, I can always talk to developers and see if we can add that feature. But as of yet, we don't provide that feature. But cloud service providers do have the ability to delete all backup jobs. You can actually set up a rule at the cloud service provider, like Amazon AWS has that feature. Google Cloud, I remember, has that feature as well. So after like 30 days, you can delete the data, all this data. So after 30 days, it will delete all the data. So you can provide that as a feature as well.
All right.
And then
looks like we have the question about the email address. So we have that. We'll add the link to the partner program as well. I'll add the link here. Just 1 second.
Another question: could do the same thing with certain backups for 30 days, etc. So I believe you wanna saying that you wanna delete backups for 30 days or older than 30 days. I think it's a similar feature. We can do that as well. So yeah, so we can actually do something that like that as well. As of yet, as I mentioned, we don't have that feature available. We can always, I'm gonna talk with my developer and then add that as a feature request. So we just typed the email address as well as the website for partner program, so you guys can take a look. And if you guys want to reach out to me or us, you can always reach out to us as well. But yeah, we're gonna wait for a couple of more minutes for any other Q&As that we have. So if you have any further questions, just reach out to us right now. Do you have a backup plan to be installed on computers to back up to NAS? For Windows computer, we actually actively working on a client to be you can use to install on a computer. So that will do a bare metal backup job to your QNAP NAS. It should be ready pretty soon. We're gonna have a webinar specifically focused on that, so keep an eye out for that. Once we announce that, we'll send out an email to everyone so you guys can check out the new application. But yes, we will have something that will be available for Windows computer. For Mac computers, you can actually use the built-in application called Time Machine. That is a free application that you can install on your or it's already available to Mac customers. And we actually can be a Mac Time Machine server. So so once you set up the Time Machine server on your QNAP NAS, it will broadcast itself as a Time Machine server, and all your Macs can back up to your QNAP NAS using the Time Machine available. So and we already have multiple YouTube videos as well as Q&As on that particular feature. So look up QNAP Time Machine Backup and you will find a guide on how to set that up as well. But yes, we do have something available already, or we actually had that for many years, called Time Machine Backup. So so that is available already. But for Windows computer, we're actually actively working on something already. So once we have it available, we'll announce that as an email, as well as we'll have a new specifically webinar for that feature, and that will be available as well.
Resellers in Mexico. Thank you, Gerardo. Appreciate that that message.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll keep the floor open for another minute if anybody has any questions. If not, we'll be wrapping up in just a minute or so. And we'll have here's our contact info again. If you have any questions regarding the partner program, send us an email, resellerinfo.us at QNAP. I'm sorry, resellerinfo_us@qnap.com. And one of us here, myself, I'm Eric Oliveros, or myself or Roger, will get back to you. We'll be contacting you. How can I get a demo device again? Send us an email there at resellerinfo@us.com, and we'll.
He's already on the partner website.
On the partner website. Okay.
All right. Looks like no further questions. So thank you everyone for joining. We're gonna have this as a monthly webinar for all of our resellers, so to keep everyone up to date, and also talk about new opportunities that you can provide for your customers. So keep an eye out on our emails. We'll also have a follow-up email with the link to a YouTube for this particular webinar. So you can actually go back and replay the video if you missed something, or if you want to
refer back to it.
Exactly, refer back to it. Again, thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you all. Thank you all again. If we're here to help, reach out to us with any questions. And again, as the ball mentioned, please keep an eye out for our next webinar invite. We'll be having one monthly. And until next time, well, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.